Hey, what's good? It's Amon Re the A son, and this is Bar Talk. So Sara, man, that song, because I came across, I don't know if you're not familiar with the story of Sara Baartman. She was called the Hottentot Venus, and she was this African young lady. I think she was like 20 years old when they found her, but they were like very enamored and enraptured by her behind. She had like this really large behind. So they told her that they was gonna make her, they was gonna make her famous. Take her to France, and she was gonna be a singer and all this stuff, and that's what they told her. But then she got there, and they had her like in this cage, acting like this savage beast from Africa. I think this dude Hendrik Cesar, he was the one that, and him sent Hendrik Cesar, and I don't know his partner's name, but he had a partner too. And they ended up like basically putting it in a sideshow. It was like a whole court case where where they was like, I believe it was a court case where she like fought for her right, and she said that she was like a willing participant or whatever, because they were saying she was a slave, because that's how the show was portrayed. Like, she's a savage slave, and I captured her to bring her here to show you, and people would she would like shake her behind, and like all the people would just like get up and be able to touch her and all that. And she never really got to live her dream. She didn't become a singer or anything like that. And she was actually really she was musically gifted. Like, she was almost like a savant. She could sing, and she could she could hear something like almost like one time and replay it, whether like the violin or whatever. But so she was like really talented actually. But then she ended up getting on drugs or something, and she became a prostitute at a brothel, and she died at like 25, like 5 years after they got her. But then they were so they thought she was so interesting, they literally wanted to study her. They literally wanted to study her, and so they made a cast of her body, so they can study her vagina and her behind and her different features to prove that she was, subhuman and not as good as white people and all that. So, I mean, and then she was made into, they made the cast, and she set, her body, her remains set in this museum in Paris for 200 years before they actually sent her remains back to Africa so that she could actually be buried and have a proper burial. And it's a sad, sad story. And I think the parallels between that story and what I see with, just the story of a man telling a young girl, I'm gonna make you a star, and then taking her and tricking her and turning her into basically this slave, a sex slave, and really just ruining her life. That is a story that is being replayed so constant throughout history since that has happened to her. She was the blueprint for the way that they treat women. That's why I'm before the record labels ever did this, the concept of exploiting black women was invented through Sara. Because her story is replayed. When I turn on the TV, now you have women getting, implants and making they butts bigger, and it's really extremely interesting, the parallels. So I wanted to write a story. I wanted to write her story, but also, related to today's society and the parallels of what's happening to young women as far as, sex trafficking, human trafficking, and not feeling, confident with yourself, and, just everything that comes with being, a woman, I guess, is me attempting to, get into that zone, and get into that mind state, I guess, get more in touch with my feminine side, as they say. But yeah, I thought her story is a sad story, and I think a lot can be learned from her situation. Literally, you can look at her story, and there's a lot of young women out there that can relate. I've spoken to women that relate to this story, because you know, because bottom line, it's happened to them, you know. So yeah, that's the inspiration behind Sara. Yeah, so you know, just look it up and get familiar. It's actually a movie called Black Venus that you can watch. I think it's on YouTube. It's really good. It's really good. You should check it out, most definitely. All right, so yeah, have a good day. I appreciate you watching. This is the final one for the you know, for the bar talk. This is the final bar talk. So I saved the best for last. I felt like I wanted to save the best for last because, you know, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. So shout out to the queen. Rest in peace, Sara. And many blessings to all of you. Stay fly, stay positive, continue to be the best versions of yourself, you know, and, you know, learn from the past. Learn from others' mistakes. Have a blessed day. Bye.
Before the video vixens, yo, there was Sara. Before injections and extensions, there was Sara. Before the record labels ever did this, the concept of exploiting black women was invented through Sara. And yo, they did this to Sara. You know they did this to Sara. 200 years, the cycle still existed, and the story is so repetitious, pay attention. For 5 years, I'm sure that she cried tears. Looked to the sky, didn't ask God why your mind here.